Well, hey guys, what's going on here? River Sullivan coming at you right here, right now. Pre-recorded yet again for your live listening pleasure. Where it's that time to sit back, relax, and crack open a cold one for another episode of This Evening Tonight. And with me here, yet again, a man with the zen-like patience of a Buddhist monk on the local fishing holes and the wisdom to match. Dave.
That's me.
You like that, didn't you?
I like it. I don't know how true it is.
Did it make your wiener wiggle?
A little bit.
All right, that's what we're going for here. Just a little wiggle.
Kind of like
tickle.
a half-inflated pool
Yeah, something like that.
toy
Went from 6 to about
sitting in the sun.
4:30.
And also here with us on the show, a man that has done something similar to when we had Mr. Vic on the show. A man that has pioneered himself his own versions of the Appalachian Trail. Steve, what's up, man?
Hard dicks and helicopters, and I ain't going down on either of them.
So what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by here. So how do you like the setup?
I love it.
We have our complimentary headphone holders that were one of the first things here that I really was really happy to have that, because normally they just get all thrown all willy-nilly. So tell me a little bit about yourself here, Steve.
I'm a mid-30s dude whose personality is based off of trauma responses, the Appalachian Trail, and serving in the military.
And you were Army?
Yep.
What unit were you with?
I've been with a few, but my first was 270th Armored Battalion. I was a tanker. This is back in 2002-ish.
The old 19 kilo.
Yeah.
Did you and Dave serve together at all? Or
Not
was
together. We were in at the same time.
I got
time?
$200 actually for signing you up. Did I ever tell you that?
I think you were supposed to give me half of that.
You were a referral.
You know, if I had that in my thrift savings plan, I might have like $120 by now.
The thrift savings plan. Dude, I had that when I signed up, and it was like 06 or 07, the market tanked, and I was in I want to say it was like the iFund or something. It was the most aggressive one. And I was probably 20 years old, maybe just turned 21, put it all in the iFund. They're like, yeah, let it ride. 06 comes around, market tanks, and they're like, yeah, you don't have anything. It's gone.
Okay, so you're talking about 19 kilo.
Yeah.
For those unassociated with the nomenclature, what is a 19 kilo?
I'm one Abrams crew member.
Generally, you start out as a driver and work your way up to loader and gunner, commander.
So driver is like the low totem pole job of tanking.
Generally speaking. Unless you're a really good driver in like a HHC or like headquarters platoon.
Yeah.
Then you're just the best driver that they can get, in my experience. But I was a tank mechanic.
Yeah, you dealt with more tankers than I did. I only dealt with my fucking platoon and company.
Yeah, you're probably pretty. I count you lucky for that.
I've always heard the tankers are a special people. Like, I was told by a few tankers that I know in my life that I should have been one, because I have a similar personality and should not have made the career choice that I made.
River, I think you are way too big to be comfortable in a tank.
That's what they told me, and then I met a couple guys that are tankers that
It's
are my
always nice.
size. Could have made it work. I think it would have been cozy.
Yeah, but they don't like them too smart, dude.
Oh no, I'm just an idiot. I just read a lot of books.
That's the problem.
I'm a good reader.
You read books and stuff.
I was actually thinking about you the other day,
I'm sorry.
Steve, about something you mentioned over the weekend when we were at the breathing process show all together. You mentioned Table 8, which is a gunnery course for tankers to basically qualify with their 72-ton gun. And I just thought it would be like a really cool name for like a little bar outside of a post somewhere.
72 ton.
No, Table 8.
Oh.
I haven't heard that.
Like a little pub.
Yeah,
Old
because
Table 8.
I mean,
That'd be pretty sweet.
literally anybody, any combat arms does a Table 8. It's not just tankers. So that would sell.
Well, you heard it here first, folks.
Right.
Anybody from CADM, just remember we have that patent pending.
Yep.
At time of production,
I'm typing it right now.
We will have the.
Yep.
And we're just gonna.
If I say it and
I
then
don't know
I
if they can hear
say
that.
Circle R, does that mean it's copyrighted?
Yeah.
Table 8, Circle R.
Close enough. He's doing the quotey fingers.
I'm just feverishly typing to the patent office right now.
So where else did you get to spend time?
Oh, I mean, I've spent an innumerable amount of time just about anywhere. But
In the military.
Mainly Fort Bragg, Iraq, sometime out in Texas, and then sometime up in Seattle. But mainly between Bragg and Iraq.
I never got to go to Bragg. I knew a lot of people that got to go.
You been to Iraq?
Of course I've been to Iraq.
Just imagine that with more tweakers.
I didn't think the Fort Bragg would be that sandy.
We call it Vietnam.
Oh.
The sand is actually just stepped on crack pipes.
I did get to go to Relaxin' Jackson, though, so
Nice.
that's pretty sandy.
Was it relaxing?
No, it wasn't.
I'm just picturing the crack pipes returning to the earth right now. I'm sorry. It's just
I did have a pretty good time. I think most people in the military look back on their basic training with a lot of fondness because that's when you got to, sure, that's where they're the meanest to you, but it's also where you get to do the most fun stuff. All the obstacle courses and things like that, the ropes courses, rappelling.
Did you do the bayonet course?
Yeah, I did the bayonet course.
I remember that.
And then they took it away.
They didn't give
I was
a
Air
fuck
Force. We had
about
a letter opener course.
Nice.
Oh, yeah?
The dangers of letter opening. And
But it was rigorous.
Was it like a
There within,
rolly chair and you had to...
yeah, like I had a guy who had carpal
Was it
tunnel,
like
he blew his wrist out.
Oh,
It was,
shit.
I mean, there was Bengay everywhere. We were trying to like dress it. You know,
Did you get that Tommy? Did you get the Tommy Johns or?
I just wonder, is it a go, no-go situation, or is there like a point scale that you guys use for passing or failing?
I don't know. I mean, we like for our PT test, we never had the BMI. They dumped BMI off.
Good.
But then they made us all cardio junkies. Like from the ages of 25 and under, we had to run 1.5 miles in 9.5 minutes, which I did the math on that. I'm like, fuck you. Like that's hefty. Like
That's booking it.
That's booking it. Even for a 19-year-old, I was struggling to hit that. And what was it?
That's good. That's a good pace.
We had, was it 50 some crunches in a minute? And they
Are
didn't do
you
sit-ups, they did
saying
crunches.
that's just a pass?
Yeah,
or-
that's max points. They do
Okay,
it.
I was
that's
gonna say-
max. Okay.
I
but
thought
if
you
you
never
meant
mind.
just,
If you
just
did
a
your
pass.
mile-
Like,
if you
wow,
did your
that's-
Never mind.
mile and
That's
a half.
bullshit. That's
Well,
fine.
if you did your 1.5 miles though in like 12 minutes, you were like, nope. Like you had a three.
So what was the
like
cutoff? 11:59.
It was some bullshit. Yeah, it was like a 2-minute gap. Like,
Okay.
but when you got above the age of 25, they're like, hell yeah, you know, here's 5 more minutes. You're already broken down already. Like
I
if you
figure-
spent your golden child years from the ages of 18 to 24 and 25 with Uncle Sam, they were like, yeah, you already beat the shit. So they give you a wide berth on the on that downhill side for like the next 5 years. Now they keep changing the shit.
Yeah.
I heard they were going to like exercise bikes. That used to be a thing in the Air Force. Was you do 45 minutes on the bicycle to check your SpO2 levels, and you had to do like, it's like 4 or 5 miles on a bike and like a ridiculous time of like 45 minutes or something.
What's from what I know, and I wasn't in the branch that you were in, but I to my understanding, it's not so much how fast you can ride the bike; it's how long you can hold your heart rate at a certain.
Yeah, I think it was like 152 or something like
Right.
that. I remember reading Air Force Times articles on it, but
Yeah.
like I said, it was something I never had to worry about when I started.
Because in the Army, we thought that was a joke,
Yeah.
but
Oh no, I saw that.
like
And I was like,
looking
oh, this
into
is
it.
why they pick on us.
Like,
This is
yeah.
why they don't like us.
but looking into it.
Wait, how
and-
long was this?
What?
How long did you have to maintain a heart rate of 152?
I think it was
like
like
45
It was like 45
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty rigorous. You know, once you look into it, it's actually pretty impressive. A lot of things about the Air Force is impressive.
they
The
were
quality
very-
of the
very-
chairs.
The quality of the chow, the quality of the living, the quality of the
yeah.
of all of that stuff. Like the accommodations were very nice, but they were very, I wouldn't say stringent, but they were they went through a lot of shit with a fine tooth comb that most other branches I don't believe would.
Where were you stationed at?
I was stationed up at Malmstrom up in Montana.
Okay.
It was a nuke base.
Well, they didn't have fucking anything else to do. So yeah,
Yeah, there was nothing else to do there but drink and not freeze to death.
Yeah.
And
Did you guys have barracks rats, or were they like barracks marmots, or?
no, it was we called
Barracks
them
prairie
dormitories,
dogs. Okay.
and the squadron I was with the 341st SFS, and we had what was known as the shitty barracks. And to put that into perspective, I mean it was about on par with like a
You had
Motel
to, you had to
6.
share a dinette.
You shared a dinette, you shared
Kind
a
of like
bathroom.
Okay.
kind of like a Waldorf Astoria.
Yeah, kind of like
Oh
the
God, I
airborne
wish.
internet.
No, like it had a smell to it. Like I got off the plane, and my base sponsor, whatever, it's some dude that's like some enlisted guy. That like, hey, you get to pick up the new guy that's assigned to us.
Yep.
You get to pick him
I
up,
remember that.
take him on base, show him to his room, and tell him when to report. So I get there, and he's like, "Yep, this is where you're living at." And I'm like, "There's like mouse shit in the stairs. There's a couple used condoms." I'm like,
At least it was
"All right,
mouse
okay,
shit.
we've arrived. We're not in Kansas anymore."
I remember the day I got to Fort Stewart, the people in charge of reception there were listening to like just a base radio station, and they were listing all of the units that were about to deploy to just a rotation in Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remembered, wait a minute, that was the unit I'm being assigned to.
I recognize those letters and numbers.
Yeah. So before I even got picked up from reception,
bingo,
it was like, oh, shit.
Look, man, I tried so hard to get out of there. I tried so hard. I wanted to get deployed. I wanted it so bad. Like, I was one of those guys, I signed up. I was in high school when the towers got hit, and I was like, I'm going to go sign up and go, defend some freedoms.
Tell me it's time to get your prostate checked without telling me you're going to go get your prostate checked.
My butt itches. And I can't reach
I'm not a proctologist, but I'll take a look.
Well, I don't think I've had as many deployments as Steven, but I spent about 22 months overseas, and I think that's about enough.
Yeah. A lot of people have told me, they're like, just be glad you didn't go. But at the end of the day, like, for me was...
I think I told you that.
You and a couple other people have. I mean, we still have that, the stuff is the only way I can describe it. Is like,
no, I get it. I get it.
It's still in there. Like, it's just something I feel like I've never...
You train for that day.
Well, Dave, you mentioned
spend
it
all
earlier.
that time in the military training.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, in a sense, to not be put to the test is a lot of people feel that maybe they didn't do anything, but that's absolutely not true. Like, we wouldn't... The people that got deployed over there wouldn't have any of the systems in place without people in the States taking care of it.
I know. Somebody has to hang back at base camp and make the sandwiches.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, most of us are just a little left up because of it. But yeah, plenty of military people still love to deploy.
Yeah.
Because they'd rather deploy than do the bullshit training 3 months in the muck out of the year. Training, like, well, we're not doing anything. We're just out here, pulling our puds.
I can do this back
in the mud.
Barracks.
And
I can pull my pud right now. What?
When you can be over getting your hazardous duty pay and all that stuff, I don't know. I wouldn't go back.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, like, looking at me now, I'm getting close to 40. I was like, I don't know if I.
There's Dave. You mentioned it earlier. There's that certain ineffable quality about your first times,
Yeah.
And any deployment, any first is going to be memorable, and you're going to look back on it fondly. But I'm pretty sure I was just like, fuck this place. This fucking sucks.
But fuck it. When I deployed to Kuwait with 464 Armor out of Fort Stewart, Georgia. It was just a standard rotation. We were rapid deployment for just every 2 years. We spent 6 months in Kuwait. That's what our unit did. But something told me, and this is weird. I don't really get into any supernatural, anything like that. But I just knew.
Dick Cheney saw his shadow.
Yeah, pretty much. But I just knew that if I was going to go to Kuwait, we were going to go to war with Iraq. And so maybe I did it with my mind.
It's your fault.
Thanks.
Those are the real psyops, right?
I was the puppet master the whole time. I didn't even know.
You were that good.
You were the man who stared at guns.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yes, I did. Oh, a lot of crazy situations. I could tell some stories, and I know Steve can tell some stories about it too, but it's such a ethereal feeling crossing a border.
Yeah.
In an unarmored
invading
truck.
A fucking country.
I'd like to try to equate that the time I crossed the American border and went into Canada in the early 2000s in a 1996 Pontiac Bonneville.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near close to that.
Honestly, a 96 Bonneville probably got the same gas mileage as your average. A2.
Probably.
Look, if I could have TMO'd that vehicle over here when I got out, I would still be driving it. That thing was a damn tank. Like, it was a battleship, man. New York City park bench for
was it a tank or a battleship? Come on, River.
It was a combination. I mean, it was a boat on wheels, man. Like, the turning radius of it though was Pennsylvania. Like, it was.
That's the only thing Pennsylvania's.
A funny thing about
bench testing turning radiuses.
A funny thing about the invasion was what they defined to be an up armored vehicle, which is a vehicle that has extra armor put in place.
0 plus 0.1 is still up.
So basically, you have
more than 0.
You have Humvees and things
I'm not a mathematician.
with the canvas doors. They would take the canvas off and put like a 1/4-inch plate steel on there and call it an up-armored vehicle.
That look, I always used to cry.
Technically, yes, it has more armor than it did.
I always used to cry bullshit because in my OMOS and my field, we literally had the up armor. It's like one door was 600 pounds, diamond turret in it, remote controlled like turret, and all that shit. If you parked at like an angle of like more than 2 degrees, you could not get the door open if you were on the uphill side. That was a true up armor. And all of us used to kind of bitch about it. Be like, I'm stateside. Why do I have this big ass up armor? I know plenty of guys that are bitching to me right now that are calling me like, and like when we get a chance to talk, that are going, we're driving around here in rag tops doing convoys, getting hit with IEDs.
Yep, they put sandbags in the floorboards.
Jesus Christ.
To offset shrapnel
soak
from
up the
roadside
blood.
bombs. Yeah, basically. But
It's kind of like those little
I
packets in the
shouldn't
bottom of
laugh
your
at
beef
that.
jerky.
But that's literally what our up armor was. You put
You guys
sandbags in the floorboards. You put a little thin piece of steel on the doors. Hey, you're good to go. It's like fucking Mad Max.
You ever deal with the up armor jingle trucks?
Yeah.
I don't know what a jingle truck is.
So, well, it was what my brother called him, the other Sullivan brother that
Was he Afghanistan or Iraq?
Afghanistan,
Yeah, I
two
thought
tours.
so.
And
That's where you hear jingle truck.
he got fucked up. And like that first one, he was not right for a long time. But he would tell me there were these guys, it was like Somalis or whatever, that would be in like a Caterpillar, like excavator that just had all these chains and like pots and pans hanging off of it. And they had it on like a big arm and it was the IED clearer.
That's
So
a
they would
buffalo.
like,
Okay, so
they
it's
would-
like
they
a
would-
buffalo.
Yeah, they would
Okay.
drive it and they would just go, they said that the thing would like choke out from all the dust. He'd get out and be like, and like just fire it back up and just go driving and just keep blowing shit up. I'm like,
Here's a
Jesus.
question for you, Steve. I don't know how this ever worked out because I know the M1A1s had the mine clearing
I was
attachment
actually
for the
on-
front.
Yeah, that's.
By the way, I love that tank. That is,
I have never.
It looks even cooler with the mine clearing plow on the front.
Yeah, it looks like it's got big nasty teeth at that point.
just truck nuts on steroids.
It's cool.
Right?
I like it.
It's really cool. It's like something you'd see out of a what are those, the heavy metal video game with the crazy vehicles that you.
Like Mad Max kind of
Heavy metal.
Yeah, it's kinda like- I
they
think it
had
was called
crazy
heavy metal.
vehicles.
Road Rash,
The fucking
But,
clown.
Skate or Die.
I don't remember ever seeing an
So you had a
M1A1 with
Genesis.
the mine clearing equipment trying to take care of IEDs. I know it's different from a mine, but if you bust it up,
Yeah.
theoretically it should be safe from getting any
Well,
cell phone signal or however they're using them these days.
when I was there, the time span I was there, as a tanker, IEDs were still pretty novel. You know, so one of the counter IED things that we did was we took 2 RC car guns. I don't know what else.
The
to fucking
controller?
call 'em. Yeah,
Okay.
and fucking taped them down to where they were always zooming. That's one thing that we used.
Just for the radio frequency?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
And that
never heard
that
that.
could
Did
blow
that
them
work?
out. I mean, I'm here, Lieutenant Haney, and a few other people aren't, but
I'm sorry.
I mean, fuck, I'm here. We actually did get to deal with landmines, which is like the last people that dealt with landmines and tanks were the Soviets, and what, prior to '92?
Was that in Iraq or Afghanistan?
Afghanistan.
That was shit.
I was-
That was,
I was
like
gonna
in the
say, like-
70s,
Yeah.
80s.
I think there were some landmines in southern Iraq,
Mhm.
but
No, we
really
saw
have
them all the
deal
way
with
to
anything
Baghdad,
like that.
dude.
We didn't.
Like we were coming. Even actually, my second favorite landmine story was we were getting ready to cross into Baghdad proper, and it's a big old bridge. I can't remember if I'm pretty sure it was at least 4 lanes wide, and at least 100 meters long. You know, it's the bridge to finally get over.
It's the Qasadiri Expressway.
Yeah. And both sides, they had about a 45-degree angle of sandbags out. And then every maybe 20 or 30 meters, there was a whole, fucking chest height stack of sandbags. And I think they were originally meant to be, fighting positions and whatnot.
Do you remember that weird Martian moon dust you get in there where the dust is so fine that it's almost a liquid?
Yeah.
It's like silt.
It's crazy.
It's like a Newtonian fucking fluid, man.
It's weird. Let's stop talking about depressing shit.
So, yeah, let's get off topic here a little bit. Let's just voluntarily derail ourselves. So I understand, Steve, that you did. Did you do a piece or did you do the whole thing of the Appalachian Trail? I want to know what your story is.
I've done the whole thing and a lot of pieces. I've kind of done both.
So like a patchwork over time, though, you've done the whole gamut.
My first hike was, 17? And Delaware Water Gap to Springer Mountain heading south, or actually west, if you're being pedantic, or if you have a degree in, like, geology.
I don't.
Or topography.
I don't have either of those.
Then in 18 and 19, I came back, started at Katahdin and headed south for a pretty long fucking time. But I've hiked over 3,000 miles of the 2,200 miles. The only piece I have yet to repeat is Pennsylvania, because fuck Pennsylvania.
Oh, God.
It just wasn't my favorite.
Like how you did it coming. Because fuck Pennsylvania.
Everyone already knows.
Hey, for those listeners that we have out there in Pennsylvania, most of you are pretty good people. We love you. And there's a few of you out there that are some buttholes, but
I don't know. If Steve says fuck him, then fuck him.
No,
I'm not fucking Pennsylvania.
No, okay, so
They're my neighbor.
I'm gonna loop back to this. First off, Pennsylvanians. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding.
I feel like that's the intro.
No.
First off, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Just to be clear.
Let's just drive them off the start.
Let's no, seriously, the trail was just a whole bunch of wet rocks. Which is the majority of the trail anyway.
I've heard that part of the trail is rather uneventful.
Yeah, it's like the sad hand job of the Appalachian Trail, and then you get into like Virginia, and it's like the sad hand job on Lexapro
With rattlesnakes.
I'm sorry. I've never heard of a piece of land being referred to as the sad hand job.
Yeah. So no, I mean, PA just it was abrupt. It wasn't really eventful. I mean, I was getting my quote unquote trail legs in there. I didn't really hit my stride until probably Damascus.
Any part that's downhill, that's where I would hit my stride.
Mm-hmm.
So to bounce this off of you here, also between our previous guest Vic, that had been through the trail himself, is it true for you that around like once a day you lose your shit at some point, or?
Yeah. I mean, I fucking hate hiking.
I mean,
just to be clear,
Wait, you hate hiking?
I
yet
fucking
you've
hate
done
hiking.
the trail.
I hate hiking, but I love shitting and eating.
So why do the trail?
Because you burn so many calories, you get to shit and eat all day. That's all you do. Just shitting, eating, and walking.
So you're like, I hate hiking. Yeah, fuck hiking, but
Love to shit in the
I am
woods.
a little backed up right now, so let me get my shoes on, pack me a bag, and then just walk on out and hit the road.
I mean, yeah, basically, always trying to deal with a lot of shit, metaphorically.
Work through some stuff. Yeah.
No, actually, I mean, the trail's awesome, and probably if I were to go back with softer eyes, I might enjoy the PA section. Honestly, I'd probably enjoy any hike that I did if I took the time and,
I mean, that was the thing that nature does for you, man. Like a lot of people like the trail because it's a metaphorical mountain to climb. It's a bucket list thing to check.
Mm-hmm.
But for like you were saying, it was to literally travel from point A, being wherever it is you choose to start, to point B, whether it be you have a set destination or whether you're just going to go until you've cleared your head, till you've cleared whatever that is. Like there's something pretty meta in it for me to say, I'm going to start here and this is where my problems are. And as you walk and travel, you move through those problems. As you physically travel, you emotionally, shut up, speaker, you emotionally, mentally travel till you've reached whatever destination it is that you choose.
Yeah, that's
what I love, like, about living here, is living here in Casa de Sully, right into the state forest. Today when I was picking up a bunch of rocks and throwing them into buckets and getting all mad and sweating. Like, I got up, sat down on my porch, cracked me a nice beverage, sat there and just stared at the trees. And just stared at them. You could just hear the sound of the leaves just dancing and kissing together, and as the wind whipped through them, and the gentle sway of the wood. And you could hear maybe a tree crack or a creak in the distance, and then some asshole with an industrial wood splitter in the background. But it would just, it calms me, it centers me. Like, it's to be able to take that trip in your mind without really, for me, having to go anywhere.
So that's what I like about hunting. See, I get to enjoy all those things, but I still get to kill something.
So why fishing? You're just to prove you're a merciful God, or you know,
It's kind of like that.
I have you now, but I shall let you.
I like to toy with them a little bit.
Well, except for that one that kicked you in the nuts. I still got that video too. You caught that one.
That's a mean
He's
fish.
a little fella that.
That little bastard had some
Got
moves.
him.
Well, like,
The fish was like,
yeet, as the children say.
it has been yacht.
Bastard had good aim.
Do you yeet? Okay, when you yeet, have you yacht or have you yeeted?
I think that depends on who you talk to.
I think it's yoked.
I don't know.
No, that's not in first person.
Oh, okay.
It has been yoked versus he yacht.
See, you learn something every day.
I'm not really. I usually remember something I fucking spent 45 minutes
I wonder
looking up
what
the day
little
before.
piece of information I lost because I had to cram that one in there instead.
No,
Something was purged at the other end of this mental transaction, and you probably won't know it until
Until it
2
comes
o'clock
up,
in the
until-
morning. You're like laying in bed awake, like, oh shit.
I've seen a lot of pictures of the trail, and I'd love to do it one day. But
let me know.
just looking at it, I think North Carolina or Tennessee would probably be my favorite parts, as long as there's no thunderstorms around. Because I think in North Carolina you get those baldy mountains, and like every day around like 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon, there's a big problem with people getting zip-zapped by lightning.
What?
It's not that bad. Like, I only know one person who's been struck by lightning while they were on the trail. A lot of tourists apparently have problems with it, but I think it's primarily golfers or people who win the lottery, or people who have already been struck by lightning.
The people who deserve it.
Or is it like a lot of people
They
that are carrying?
I mean, anybody deserves it, frankly.
Is it just like, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and be like, is it the people carrying the packs with aluminum frames, or
I don't know. I don't
Traveling around
I don't think
there.
aluminum is a great conductor.
traveling around in their homemade Faraday cage?
Yeah.
I think that if the lightning travels, a mile or two through very non-conductive air to get to the ground, then it doesn't really care if your pack's
It's
aluminum
just
or
smashing wherever it
Yeah.
can land. It's thirsty by then. It's thirsty lightning.
yeah. And you're not supposed to hide under trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's a blizzard.
If you're in the Whites, the only time I almost got struck by lightning was in the Whites. And this is New England, towards the beginning of the trail, probably the first 300. My favorite part of the trail, full stop, outside of the friends I've made along the way. The Whites are my favorite fucking spot.
Have you ever run into trail arms?
Trail
A man that goes by the name of Trail Arms.
Trail arms. I knew a Tarzan.
Well, there was Vic that was on the show prior that had he used to do news broadcasting, stuff like that. But he was like, I'm going to do the Appalachian Trail. He started from the south in Georgia and went from Georgia to West Virginia. And he always would he would always tell me about he would run into this guy that his trail name was Trail Arms. He was a Vietnam vet that his legs were, I guess, mainly crippled, and he just had these arms, these big ass arms of his. He would be slugging through the trail using just his arms.
Like a silverback.
Pretty much, except he was more upright.
I knew
And
a
probably less
couple.
hair.
I knew
He's
a
like, I
couple
lose my shit every day.
Vietnam vets. There was one armed Jack who I'm not sure if he was a vet or a convict or both, but I met him. A few dudes busking down in North Carolina that claimed they were. You know how many Vietnam vets it takes to screw in a light bulb, River?
Huh.
You don't know, man. You weren't there.
Why did that make me laugh so much? I don't know.
While I was hiking, there was the oldest dude who had ever attempted the trail. He was an old 101st guy. He was a vet. He didn't make it all the way.
Was he wearing his old jump boots?
No, but he had the campaign hat. I want to, if I remember correctly, I can't remember his trail name now. I don't remember a dude by the name of Trail Arms, though.
Hey, do people actually build little cabins along the trail?
Not people that complete the trail.
So people that complete the trail, like, earn the right to build these things?
No. I'm just saying that the people who go out on the trail and try to build their shelter every night are not going to complete the fucking trail.
Takes too much time to build a shelter.
No, I mean, I heard there was, like, cabins and stuff.
Oh,
over
yeah,
years
no,
that people
absolutely.
built for other trail goers to use.
No,
Plus,
there are shelters all along the way.
Most,
yeah.
especially through hikers, go by a leave no trace policy.
Yeah.
So they're not going to mess with anything
Yeah.
except
If
for
you see those guys past, like, the first 200 miles of the trail, it's an anomaly.
yeah, and like the ultralight hikers. I don't know if you're familiar. I know Steve is. These people
Like the dudes that go out instead of like a full ruck, they got like 10 pounds of shit. And
yeah,
that's it.
like 10, 11 pounds of stuff.
Yeah. Like Vic, he was. I want to say he was. I believe he was airborne. I don't know. I'd have to listen to the show again.
I don't
or
even
go
know how
on.
you do that. 10, 11
he-
pounds
well,
because
he
you're,
tried going
you're
out
supposed
with-
to pack your poop out.
Well, he tried going out the first time he tried the trail. He had like a 60-pound ruck. He's like,
Just recycle it.
I've ruck marched. I've done this before. I can do it. He said, I was wrong. He said, you don't want to pack that much. He's like, you want like 40 pounds tops for most people.
Yeah,
like,
40
he's
pounds
he's
would be
like,
way too much.
Tops.
Yeah. I say 10% of body weight.
Yeah, it all depends on like how, like if you know how far you can hike a day and be able to get up the next day and do it again, then
That's something you build over time, too.
Can you
Yeah.
mountain bike the Appalachian Trail?
There are sections where you will see mountain bikers, but
I don't think
I mean,
the entire
hypothetically-
trail is accessible by bicycle.
Really?
like legally,
You're gonna
no.
be
You're gonna be that cunt on a mountain bike.
yeah. Plus you're gonna carry
I'm going
it.
to wear my tight shorts, keep these thighs tight.
You're gonna carry it through a
You
lot of it.
lack the warmth and depth of an actual.
Did you see any bears?
Yeah, I saw a lot of bears.
I saw a bear.
I got a lot of bear stories.
I got a bear story too.
A lot of poo
It happened
stories,
right
too.
over there.
Are we
Yeah.
talking about the fuzzy woodland creature here, right?
Fuck
Not
yeah.
like
Or
okay.
the lovable, hairy, homosexual people.
Por qué no los dos?
Probably seen a couple
Maybe
of
they're
those.
furries as well.
Don't say furries
Takes
too
all
much. They
time.
might appear here. We're going to stay forest. They're probably hiding in the tree lines right now.
At least they're keeping the dry cleaning industry in business.
there, Buttercup.
Just fucking kinky mascots is all they are.
The furry massacre where the guy's like, their numbers know no end, brother.
So, no, the Appalachian Trail. You brought up a good point with mileage and how much you're packing. For me, I think the best part about it was, and it's one of the things that I actually appreciated about my tours in the military, even if it was going out to the field for a table 8 or deploying to a country or invading, whatever, was you live with kind of what you're carrying.
It's minimalist.
Yeah.
Everything has its use. Everything.
I mean,
has
you
its
can be
place.
extra about it, but you know where it's going, and you know that either on the way out of town you're going to have to pack it out, or, on the way, it's... So it helps you kind of put things into perspective with what you really need, and the secret is a wife with a job. That's the number one thing you need.
I've got
The
one.
unsung heroes.
So
I
you're
got one.
practically there, dude. You've already hiked the Appalachian Trail. No,
Wait, are we equating marriage to achieving the hike of the Appalachian
no,
Trail?
not having a wife with a job.
Ah, okay.
Or a spouse, I guess, a partner. And a remarkable fucking, almost geological patience while you work through your own
Aw.
shit. So, thank you to mine. But
Thank you, Becca.
having everything
Thank you, Sturgill Simpson.
that
Thank
you
Sturgill
need.
Simpson.
Thanks, Sturgill. I loved your cover with John Prine. That was very good.
Saint Sturgill.
I call him Country Joe Rogan. Like
Okay.
Country Joe. Because there's a definite strong cross section between DMT. Like, I think DMT is the key of the Venn diagram between Joe Rogan and Sturgill Simpson.
Are you talking about DMT, the hallucinogenic party drug?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He wrote a song about it.
Yeah, he talks about
didn't know that.
Turtles all the way
intergalactic. Yeah, which is a reference to a David.
Country music.
Yeah.
DMT. Like,
He talks about the intergalactic lizards that cut him open and
He should do a
take
song
away
with
all the
your
pain.
pain,
Yeah.
You should do a song with Afro Man.
It wasn't him though.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. You guys want to talk about Cannibal Corpse? I'll talk about Cannibal Corpse.
that's a big conspiracy right there.
What, Cannibal Corpse or Afro?
No, I mean, I'm talking about the whole DMT thing. I really like it.
You
like
You mean
DMT?
the machine oats? Or
I have many years to retirement in my other job, sir.
Yeah,
I've always
sure.
heard about the ayahuasca, though. That might be something to try, though,
Oh,
when I
yes, the
retire.
rope of the dead. That's what
What?
it translates into.
You like
Ayahuasca?
Yeah.
supposedly you like
It's made out of
transport
poisonous
outside of your body
vines.
for up to 3 days, but you'll feel like you've been gone for 1,000 years.
Shit, just go to
Yeah,
Target.
that sounds like a great time because, yeah, I mean,
You know
I've
how-
seen
you know
Black
how smart
Mirror.
I'd be if I was gone for 1,000 years. Like,
exactly as smart as you are now, minus.
I'll just have
Minus
days.
your
I'll have
sanity.
like lay a book on my face or something. A tablet just keeps flipping.
You'll
through
be
pages.
that much less relatable to people who haven't done DMT.
You're gonna start
allegedly.
calling all your elderly relatives son. You know how old I am? I'm 1,200 fucking years old. You listen to me.
Shit. I mean, if I wanted to disassociate,
40
for
years
3
old
days,
trying to
just
apply for your
go to
AARP
Target
card.
in Morgantown when the kids come back.
Hey, look, I love it when the college kids leave in the Morgantown area because they start wheeling those big dumpsters out on the street.
Oh yeah, a whole bunch
And
of stuff.
those kids throw away some shit. I had like a brand new Xbox 360 I got out of a dumpster still in the box.
River, you have not been around Morgantown proper long enough to know. You can't look forward to the students leaving anymore because they roll out their dumpsters, and then when they take them away, they put all the road signs up.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the
It's like,
construction
oh,
signs?
I can finally get through traffic.
It's like there's
No.
2 seasons in
You got that little
Morgantown.
flag dude ahead. You're like, yeah.
You've
I
got
went through Morgantown today because I had something I needed to do. Well, not needed, but definitely wanted that I hadn't been able to do for so long
Eat
because COVID.
inside.
Well, I wanted to go and get me a cup of coffee from the Blue Moose Cafe.
Yeah, we've
Love
been
their
there.
coffee. They're a bunch of hippies, whatever. Live their lives however they're going to live them.
Jesus, you
Just
think
keep
you
making
think
me,
you know somebody?
Just keep making
you know?
me that delicious coffee, though.
It's pretty good. No, I got the. What did we get last time we were there? There's actually we call. First off, I love West Virginia and I love Morgantown. Let me preface this comment with this, but Morgantown is basically shitty Asheville. I mean, even the tweakers are minor league.
They're doing
So-
what they
I don't know, we
can.
used to have that angry lady that would have arguments with herself all day, and if you pulled up next to her in your car and you looked at her, you were in the argument.
I've
You're in
seen
there.
her.
Like she's
I've
like,
seen her.
"You motherfucker!" Right?
that's
Like, oh
terrifying.
shit! Oh please, light! Oh please, turn green! Please turn green!
That's what happens when you
my
make
wife,
eye contact.
my wife and I had not a person-to-person encounter, but an encounter with her sitting in our car eating Wendy's food before a heavy metal show.
What a better way!
I don't know if
to
I've
get
met
yourself
this one-
psyched
this
up
one.
for
Like,
a
man,
show.
we've already paid for this parking spot,
And this is a Wendy's parking lot.
but I kind of want to leave.
Beware the tripwires.
No,
That's-
where we were at, we're within walking distance of a couple different coffee joints that are pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
The rent is less than half of what we were paying where we were before.
Oh, dude, Morgantown rent is like 3 times above the national average. It's like Los Angeles rent.
Yeah, so I guess I
You're
was.
not getting Los Angeles style shit.
No, they're trying to turn it into the Hamptons,
Yeah, gentrified.
the old Palisades. It's because they jack up tuition. It's cheaper than in-state tuition in the surrounding
Oh yeah,
states.
that's why you end up. There's like 2 seasons in Morgantown: drunk fuckboys or construction. And the vast majority of these
Put that on
Fuck-
a fucking
fuck people.
t-shirt.
fuck people. I'll call them fuck people because I don't think it's
Also
a
known as
gender relative
Yeah,
term.
you shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't assume their gender.
There's a term I've heard about that.
Yeah, I
at
didn't
the
want to
other
make an
job.
ascender
It's
jump
known-
assumption.
It's known as the fucking.
The fucking yes.
Oh, that,
It's also a horror movie trailer that I'm working on right now.
I was gonna say it sounds
That's pretty
like
much like a Wiz Khalifa cover band.
No, it
in
sounds like a
Morgantown.
terrible M. Night Shyamalan
There will
movie.
be a
Yes.
fucking in there.
It was the trees.
So, talking about a whole bunch of these like blatant cash grabs and conspiracies a little bit.
What, you mean the Iraq invasion? Are we going back to that again?
No. I have something deeper. So let me ask you this. I'm guessing most of us in this building here at some point or another has gone to a McDonald's.
You've been following me.
Yeah, I've been to your website. So,
Thanks for the
what
$9.95.
what happens anytime you go to McDonald's and ask for a McFlurry?
Ice machine's broken.
Yeah, McFlurry machine's broken, right? It's
Interesting thing I learned, and I don't want to derail it, and I think you're going to get to it, so I'll be quiet.
okay.
See, that's not fair, because you can say anything, and he can just say, yeah, I knew that.
Okay, fine. You know what? Fucking post. Cut it out and post. There was actually a couple. I can't remember what school they were from, or like even if they were like college aligned, that built a network where they were tracking the up or downs of the shake machine across the United States.
So it's the Waze app of McFlurry machines.
Yeah.
That is badass.
Yeah.
Nowhere near, though, but in the same vein that I was going to tell you that. Because there was a startup company known as the Kitsch Company. Now, there was, to start this off, we have to travel back in time to February 22nd, 2020, where the startup company known as the Kitsch Company was working with McDonald's to figure out why the McFlurry machines were breaking. They didn't know why. So they had to go with all of these franchisees, all the franchise owners of all these McDonald's, whatever, that were like, yeah, we'd like to take part in this and figure out what's going on with the machines, because everybody, the McFlurry machine being broken is such an old hat thing. It's become a meme, all right? And it turns out that the meme is actually true.
That's like when I was bartending and somebody would ask for a mojito.
Well, here's
I don't have mint.
No, yeah.
Of course I have mint. I'm a bartender. I'm not making you a mojito. You know why? Because it takes 5 minutes. And once somebody sees
Everyone's
a
like,
mojito,
"Oh,
they're like,
mojitos."
oh, you make mojitos.
Yeah.
I don't have 5
you're
minutes
that
to
guy.
make everybody's damn drink. Yeah, I'm that guy.
That's what we all thought McDonald's was doing with the McFlurry machine, and it was not the case.
Well, you combine a combination, or you have a combination of lack of maintenance combined with advertising.
It goes deeper.
Even
than
better,
that. It goes deeper than that.
Hacked by Russia, I'm calling it.
Deeper than that.
Chinese
all the way.
thermometers.
Okay, so
Or
the
Chinese
Kitsch,
thermostats,
the
rather.
Kitsch Company developed their own diagnostic machine to run hardware and software tests on these McFlurry machines, because they're like, man, everybody says they're broken. They're like, no, they really are. All the employees are talking to, the franchise owners are like, no, they're really broken. We always have to call somebody in to fix it. And then it gets fixed, and it works for a couple days, and then it breaks down again, and they have to call somebody back in to fix it. The Kitsch Company.
Self-licking ice cream cone.
So the Kitsch Company was this kind of crowd-funded startup company that ran this program, this machine that you'd plug it in, and they started diagnosing all of these machines. And then they found out that the code written in the manufacturer's process, like the actual manufacturer, who was the Taylor Company that manufactures the ice cream, the McFlurry's machines from McDonald's, was manufacturing in purposefully faulty code to make these machines break themselves. So they would continue to have to get called by McDonald's to come back in and fix the shit that McDonald's is paying them for to have these machines. They're now paying them more money.
So you're telling me the
to fix
Kitschco is a bunch of snitches?
Steve said it.
The
He said
Snitchco.
self-licking ice cream cone.
But
Yeah.
look, it goes even
exactly
crazier
what it
because
is.
the Taylor Company tried to buy out Kitsch. They tried to buy him out using multiple like anonymous
Shell
emails
companies
and shell companies and stuff like that, just to try to get a piece of the technology, the hardware, software that they were using to discover that they were up to nefarious things. And it went so far as where McDonald's had to go to court and file a restraining order against the people that made their own ice cream machines for them. But somehow the Taylor Company got a hold of one of the Kitsch machines.
Industrial
And
espionage.
now they're working on like reverse engineering it, so either they can defeat it or whatever. But now everything's just been blown open. So Kitsch has called out the Taylor Company and said, you have like 48 hours to return this shit or face legal ramifications. McDonald's is like, don't go anywhere near us. Stay away. 25 feet, nowhere near a school. For years, like comfortably close to a decade, has the McFlurry been out. That it worked for a couple of years, and we were like, hey, let me get that for you, McFlurry machine's broke. I used to
I'm
joke and say,
wondering
that's
how
how you
much of
get
this-
hired at McDonald's. How do you make a McFlurry? It's broken. You're hired. No.
It went all the way to the top.
That sounded really
So
weird.
Ronald McDonald you said it went all the way to the top.
That
so,
fucking clown.
that fucking clown. Have you ever seen the original Ronald McDonald?
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
It's fucking
the original
terrifying.
Ronald McDonald was God. He was like a TV show host though. He's dead now. God, I can't think of. Like,
You think so?
Like Pat Donahue.
I think you're right. Donahue sounds right.
Some Donahue. I was gonna say Ed McMahon, but Ed didn't do it.
He could have. Back in his younger days.
I think it was Jimmy Savile.
Maybe. I thought it was Savall.
I lied about that. That guy was like a...
Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill.
I shouldn't joke about that.
Superman,
that guy's a
The
terrifying
Witcher.
pedophile.
He's also Ronald McDonald.
He could do anything.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Fucking clowns, man.
Nobody who looks like Henry Cavill eats at McDonald's.
Really?
Henry Cavill's skin is so perfect, he looks like he's made of the McDonald's cheese.
Yeah, which is
Just ageless.
It's ageless, plastic, doesn't really melt.
not man-made. Definitely not of this world.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Kitschko fucked it up, man.
Yeah.
They could have come back with a summary saying, this looks complicated. I think we're going to need to, reevaluate our findings because it just doesn't align with reality. So they could have been stringing it out like.
Well, do you know what the Taylor Company did too? I forgot
maybe
about
get
this.
a couple government grants to
Right?
keep their work
Well,
going.
here's the thing: the Kitsch Company discovering all this stuff through these independently owned franchises.
They could have got all that.
This
all
is
that
like the
McFlurry
Watergate
hush
of
money.
Yeah, the
McDonald's.
Taylor Company got a hold of the franchise owners that volunteered their franchise to have their stuff diagnosed through the Kitsch Company, and they told them, said, don't use it, don't use your stuff, it can cause dangerous, it'll make the McFlurry machine explode. Like they were telling them, it's it'll come to life
18-year-old
and kill your
kid.
children. Like it'll force soft serve down every employee's throat until they just and have diabetes. Like they were just
Isn't that
they were
the goal anyway?
running off at the mouth at everything that they could to get people to stop from using those machines. Because you're like, no, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's really okay.
No,
it's
don't.
not us. It's them. They're doing this.
Literally.
They're the bad
No,
guy.
don't.
Like-
Stop.
Yeah.
Don't
look
use
over
this
here.
machine.
Don't look at the butterfly. Look at the butterfly.
Just jingle a set of
See,
car keys.
where I thought you were going to go with that is that they spent all this money to diagnose these machines to find out that people were just turning them off.
I mean,
That's
literally-
where I thought you
there
were going.
were news articles in McDonald's where people were dumping like the lard inside of the McFlurry machine, or like one lady got caught dumping fry grease into the iced tea, and so that
That's what
really,
makes it so
I was
good.
gonna say, that's a really good iced tea because it's got chunks of fat floating in it, so
Well,
it's got that extra flavor.
Yeah, that's Southern iced tea. Did you
Lemon,
know
go fuck yourself, lard.
that they actually do give different Coke to McDonald's?
I've heard that. Different
Yeah.
companies, it's just like getting tires at Walmart. You get Goodyear Wrangler tires at Walmart versus anywhere else.
Yeah.
They might say a Goodyear Wrangler on them, but they're built for Walmart because they're cheaper and at lower standards.
No, it slaps different.
Pretty
If
sure
you-
that
if you
has
get
to
a
be
nice
disclosed somewhere.
icy Coke from. No, it absolutely doesn't. When you look at Black Friday, for instance, when you go in and you say, I'm going to buy a something Note 11, like a Samsung Note 11, or a television. Television is a better example. They can call it the exact same thing in the exact same model and charge the exact same amount of money and build it with parts that aren't of the same quality that you get in that model the rest of the fucking year.
Never participated in Black Friday. I'm always hunting that day.
Good.
Yeah.
You should hunt.
Well,
Okay.
there's a problem with that because the state says that you're not allowed to hunt within 90 yards of any building. So,
You're not supposed to shit within 90 yards of any building either. But
well, I'd have to see the regulations.
Are we talking
on
about the
that.
regulations similar to masturbating on a bus?
No, I'm talking about
Like
the
frowned upon? Not
I'm
illegal, but
talking
just
about the
frowned upon?
West Virginia hunting, fishing, and trapping regulations.
so you
that-
have a license?
Yes, I have a license. Actually, I don't. I don't have a hunting license because I'm a landowner.
It's good to own land.
It is good to own land.
Well, it looks like we're starting to roll short here on time, but staying as true as we can to the tradition of the show with every guest that we have. Right around the end of it, we like to have what we call the farewell moment. And Steve, for the farewell moment, for those that have never listened before here, what that is this is your time. Your moment, your one shot,
This is
your
my
one
time?
your one M&M opportunity.
Oh my god, my knees.
To just Roll with it or
are
just
so
let
heavy.
it slip. To where you can offer any shout-outs, plugs,
Fanny
a
pack
story,
full
a
of
joke,
spaghetti.
whatever it is that you want to
Something
tell
like
us.
that. I don't think
There's
those are the
Arby's
words.
on my T-shirt already.
God damn it. The moment is yours, sir. You take as much time as you need. It's all you.
Well, first off, thank you to River and Dave for inviting me to come out to,
And Sturgill.
listen to the show in real time.
And Sturgill.
And Sturgill, yes.
Thank you, Sturgill.
Thank you, Sturgill.
Thank you, Sturgill.
Well, I said Grace already. I mean, I already thanked him once. It's a national fucking treasure.
Thank you,
So-
Sturgill, for all the blessings I received today.
Right? That's what you get in your...
I forgot.
Instead of
This is his time. I need to shut up.
Instead of like a Christmas sock, it's just like a Wook toboggan full of party drugs. Every Christmas, you know?
I can get down with that.
Yeah. But they're not your drugs, that's the point. Because it's a Wook
As long as I get
toboggan.
like another one on Easter.
Ah, St. Sturgill, king of Shit Mountain. King Turd on Shit Mountain, as the song goes.
So, if you're thinking about hiking the Appalachian Trail or just getting out and hiking, do it. As long as you're safe, as long as you're, you don't have to carry a fire extinguisher sized can of bear mace.
But I want to.
Then, hike your own hike. Okay,
might
that's
have to
my point.
keister it.
There we go. Yuva concert. What's that band that did the Mongolian throat singing?
The Who.
The Who.
Ooh, yes. It was kind of like that, but at a lower frequency. So, you're never going to have everything right before you go out. The most important thing is to just get out there and hike. You spend 3 weeks outside of the day in, day out, wake up, when your alarm goes off, go to bed after you're done binging Netflix and scratching your ass. It feels a lot more like natural, I guess is the easiest way to put it. And I'm somebody who has struggled with sleeping, either getting to sleep, staying asleep, eating, either not eating enough or just, shoveling food into the void. You get out and you start doing just a little bit of mileage consistently day in, day out, and your body... if you've ever seen an indoor cat, full stop indoors cat, they're neurotic as fuck.
Cat Damon.
Yeah. So, humans are meant to actually spend a little bit of time shitting outdoors and walking in the woods and, just being outside. And it does so much fucking good for you. So, don't shoot yourself in the head, just walk into the woods. And keep fucking walking.
Henry David Thoreau would be proud of every word you just said.
Well, even he wasn't fucking prepared. Have you seen his checklist? He forgot to write pencils on that motherfucker.
No, I know. I've listened to Walden. I think he's a little wordy, but I think it's
He's an author. So.
yeah.
Authors being so wordy.
He's a little. He's
no Cormac
for
McCarthy.
a man who wants to live as a minimalist. He's an elitist.
Exactly. No, that's what you get to fill the void with is all these shitty platitudes about, instead of doing anything, you just don't do anything besides walk, shit, and sleep and eat. But you get to look
Grow
down
your
on
potato.
people. Yeah.
Before we finish, I did want to ask if you ever met anybody on the trail that you could tell were essentially glamping on the trail, like they've never really done a big hike, but they spent like $4,000 on gear.
I'm right here.
I got it. No, I love it. I'm here for it. So there's a few different ways to approach people who do that, but if they're out hiking, that's where I meet them,
Yeah, and at least they're doing
outside
something.
of on the internet.
So, I'm not trying to hate on them, but
as long as they're not pulling over on Skyline Drive to take a picture while their, mocha is still cold during leaf season. Even those people, fuck, you got out of your car, you're standing, you're taking a minute. I've got a funny story about those people, if you'd like.
if we have time.
Okay.
It's your,
You can do with this what you will.
This is your farewell,
Yeah,
sir.
we'll,
you want to do it.
River has to
this
ask
doesn't have to
Sturgill
go in.
Simpson.
So, has anyone here heard the term yogiing before?
You mean like a yogi?
That's when you poop your pants and you try to stuff it back into your butthole.
No, that's a Caitlin Bennett.
Oh. Damn.
Or
well,
an Alabama Hot Pocket.
Then there is egg on my face, sir, because
First you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
So, yogiing, you remember Yogi Boo?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Yogi Bear, Hanna-Barbera and those folks.
Stealing people's picnic baskets.
No, not stealing them.
They ran away. It was free food.
But
I
you
get
never
it,
really
finders keepers.
terrified them. I mean, setting fires is very dangerous, especially with the climate the way it is right now. I mean, that's the reason I can't go back to Denny's. But yogiing is pretty much where you're spanging for food without really doing anything other than being a long distance hiker. Because after a few 100 miles, you've kind of got the hiker look. You know, it's not quite Scenes from The Walking Dead, but...
I'm just
You're
sorry, real
ragged,
quick. We're not
you're-
talking about Second Harvest here, are we?
No.
Okay, all right.
Oh, the lead.
So, god damn it. So,
You do what you got to survive.
I'm part of the way through Virginia, and
No, you're in West Virginia. Oh, this.
yeah, Q
take that out.
Ashican farewell. That's usually what I tell these stories to, but we don't have the copyrights to that.
I'll do the best I can.
So, probably a fifth of the way through my initial hike, and you know I'm grimed up good, as my wife would say. I smell like wolf pussy. You know, I'm looking mangy and just, you know, fucking ragged, looking haggard,
Just a Friday night, yeah.
right? But it's like, you know, 6 weeks of Friday nights, and you know I'm 4 Bahama Mamas in, and it's only 2:30 Applebee's. So the goal is to basically kind of glomp onto people with a whole bunch of shit that they don't need, because you get super hungry. After a certain point, you literally cannot eat enough.
Are you just like waiting for them to get tired of carrying all their stuff? It's like, yeah, I'll take that bag of noodles.
No,
Okay.
because you have these folks that always wanted to hike the Appalachian Trail, and you know they've spent the last 30 years being an orthodontist and putting their 3 kids through, you know, travel baseball and frickin' half Hebrew school, and they've always wanted to hike the Appalachian Trail, but they can't. So they see you looking like, you know, just a pile of smashed ass. They're like, "Oh, so are you hiking the Appalachian Trail?" And I'm like, you know, honestly,
Hey there, champ.
Honestly, mister, it's just been a rough couple of years. No, but you know, so you give people an opportunity to, you know, at different love languages and whatnot, but they get an opportunity to feed someone, or, you know, help somebody who's living, you know, some small part of maybe one of their dreams.
So there's like a good sense of community.
I mean, that's how I justify taking food from orthodontists after they offer it. But there is an amazing community. But yogiing is basically getting free food from day hikers or section hikers, or your people stopping for their latte selfie on Skyline.
So theoretically, a man could survive indefinitely on the trail.
No,
or a woman.
The trail provides is the second most favorite banal platitude that I know. The first one is hike your own hike, which I said earlier in regards to your fire extinguisher-sized can of bear spray.
I mean, I also feel
Flash
like
flood.
with certain backgrounds, you should be able to psychologically enable some of these people to give up prematurely, to where you can be like, you probably aren't going to make it.
How do you think I got this one?
Why don't you just slide me that
Why don't
sandwich?
you just settle down with me?
I mean, no, I never take, you know, honestly, like, I'm more interested in breaking bread with somebody or taking a little bit of weight off their back than I am from taking, like, food out of their mouth.
I like it.
I think that's what I would do on the trail. Like,
Wait for him to eat and snatch food literally.
no,
out of
like
their mouths.
I'd offer to pack out
Wait
everybody's.
till it's in their mouth and like right in the.
No,
right
I'd
in
pack
the
out everybody's
breadbasket.
poop and write your name on it. And it's like, okay, you won't have to carry this. But
yeah,
then
we'll mail it to you.
You just
I'm giving it to 23andMe, and I'm solving some fucking murders, my friend.
you could. There are a lot of murders out there.
You ever meet any international folks
Oh yeah, quite a few. A lot of Germans
on the trail?
A lot of Germans. Actually, the Schlamperwasser,
for a hike,
the seltzer. I was in Vermont at, I think it was literally called The Hostel. And there was this couple, I want to say it was Brut and Cake. I think that it might actually literally be cake. It was bread and cake. Male and female, mid-20s, from one of the larger areas of Germany.
German for cake is Kuchen.
Kuchen, okay.
Kuchen.
So, it was cake and bread. Kuchen und Brot.
Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
I have a recipe for brownies with no eggs. Und
Oh
keine
yeah.
Eier.
Und keine Eier.
But the Germans have another banal platitude. That's that, if there was a trail to hell, the Germans would hike it. So I'm sitting out there drinking, and I know just a very little bit of German. And a nice thing about like drinking on the trail, it's almost like when you give like plasma and then buy a 12-pack of Natter Days. It goes much further. It slaps, much harder. Mm-hmm. So you gain your trail legs and you lose your house liver. So a 4-pack of 8% will fucking put you on your ass, right? So I'm sitting out there with this 12-pack of these seltzers I've been hearing about all along the trail. I haven't tried them. And they're like, okay. And I want to say maybe Hamburg. But they're like, what are those? I'm like, oh, this is a Schlamperwasser. And they're like, what? Slut water? I'm like, yeah, we call it Richmond slut water.
We kind of do too.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm enjoying my slut water very much.
I got fucking wasted with these. Hamburg. I want to say they were from Hamburg.
I would have a lime slut water, please.
Yeah.
Now I want to make my own like German-inspired seltzer.
Schlamperwasser.
Scheiße Schletzer. Shit seltzer? Ja.
Sehr gut.
This is Scheiße.
A lot of poop stuff in the show.
River, you
I haven't gone
cannot
back
speak
into the
German.
shows.
No, I can't.
You can make the voice though.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the whole Vox Deus thing going on,
So before we close out, do you want to tell us your trail name?
Yeah, sure. I'm a Bear Scare. That was my trail name that I got in.
Is it because you molested a
2017.
bear?
No,
Okay.
it's because I have crippling sleep apnea. Fuck it. I'm gonna tell my trail story about how I got my goddamn name.
Hold on. But before you do that, I have to mention
Didn't
that
have a machine.
I was just thinking about this when you were telling
I
your
am
last
the
story.
machine.
I was like, "There's no way I could hike the Appalachian Trail
you
because
can.
I can't pack out my fucking CPAP."
Have you slept in the same building as me?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I'm a fucking shack shaker. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for what you
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything.
I got 2
including
women in
my
this building
butthole.
living with Darth Vader's just
Right? No, worse than Darth Vader. Like, take an asthmatic kitten, fucking
Like
OD
Bane
him on
and Darth Vader
ketamine
had
and
a
just
baby.
stick him in front of a microphone and squeeze, and that's what I sound like.
oxygen to
So- This is before I met my trail family in 2017. I was hiking, like I said, Delaware Water Gap South, and it was a period of time where it hadn't stopped raining for over 2 weeks. My bag, like
Shitty
all of
time
my
on the
stuff,
trail.
was
That would
literally wetter than Whitney Houston's last joint. And I'm angry.
I don't know if I can leave that in there or not, but all
If you can. I stole it from a pretty funny comedian, I think.
right. Okay, yeah. Let it ride.
So I'm like, you get these thoughts in your. It's just like, I mean, you go to a grocery store and you're like, fucking your cart is funny, but instead of it's your cart, it's your life, and you spend, instead of pushing it around the Walmart, you're pushing it you're walking 20 miles with it in your head, just banging around, and for 2 goddamn weeks. And
That is a great image.
because everyone's fucking been there. So I'm just wet. I'm both cold and rashy and hot at the same time. And I decide I want to sleep. And at this point, I didn't camp near humans. I was always at least 50 yards away when I'd find a good campsite, and I'd post out like a little bit further out, which kind of conflicted with my leave no trace thing, because it's hard to find a place that isn't somebody shitting
Right.
or booting up that you can set your tarp up or tent or whatever up in. And finally I'm like, you know what, fuck it. Tonight I woke up rashy and wet and cold and just nasty. I was like, I'm gonna fucking sleep on something dry and flat tonight, because I hadn't had neither dry nor flat for like a fucking fortnight.
So what was her name?
Carl.
I can't remember the name of the shelter actually, but I planned it out. It was a conservative day. The shelter was 1 or 2 miles off trail, uphill. It had no water source or like Wi-Fi or like cell signal, and it was like, it had bees. It was a place that people didn't go.
I'm out.
It was like the Ohio of...
If it's 2 miles off trail, I don't think
You would
anybody
think.
really
You
wants
lost
to
me at
go.
Wi-Fi, and then you really lost me at bees.
So fucking bees, man.
Fucking
Next thing
bees.
you're going to tell me is they didn't have beer.
So they didn't actually... Well, no.
What?
No, there wasn't.
What?
Um...
This is America, sir.
So this is still like, you know, I'm trying to be like reasonable. Like there's a really, nobody's going to be at this shelter. And I probably got half the bullshit wrong, but I remember 3 people. And these are hikers by the name of Voices, Ripple, and Skinny Malink. And they can verify this story. I roll in around probably an hour before it gets dark, and I turn the corner towards the shelter, and there's 3 dudes sitting there. And I'm just like,
Shit.
like fuck in my head, but outside I'm like, oh hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, bruh?
Yeah, how's it? What's up? How's your hike going? And they're like, oh, it's pretty good, man. I'm so and so, and I'm this and that. And I'm like, I'm Steve, because I didn't have my trail name at this point. I'm like, well, Steve, what's going on? I was like, oh, just really hoping to like kind of sleep in a shelter tonight. And they looked at me like I was being weird. And they're like, yeah, man, like you could sleep in a shelter. I was like, well, here's the thing, guys. I snore. They're like, no, come on. Now, mind you, all 3 of these guys were like, they walked all the way from Katahdin at this point. They're over halfway through their hike, well over. So they're fucking gritty. Like they've seen pretty much everything the trail has to offer, outside of the last part of Virginia and then whatever's after that till Springer.
More snakes.
And they're like, no, man, it's okay. Come on in. I'm like, no, motherfucker. Like, I snore. And they're like, no, like, come on in. I'm like, all right, well, do you want some Benadryl? They're like, no, don't worry about it. I'm like, you want some earplugs? They're like, no. I was like, can I smoke you up? And they're like, no, man, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay. Well, I put my hiking stick, like my hiking pole, between myself and these 3 young men before I went to sleep, and I looked at him and I was like, hey guys, like, just poke me with it. If I'm snoring, I'll roll over, like no big deal. So I gave him permission
To poke you in the middle of the
poke
night?
me in the middle of the night.
Okay.
We were in the consent tent. So I wake up, ass early because, like I said earlier in my little diatribe, get out and hike for 3 weeks, and your whole biological thing resets, and you can start waking up when the sun comes up, and you're tired by the time the sun's going down.
Oh, I need that so bad.
I wake up at the ass crack of dawn, and I look over, and nobody's in the shelter with me. And this shelter is probably the size of this fucking barn. Well, maybe like 2/3. I don't know. To that line right there between these two. This wide and about this deep.
It's about 12 by 20.
Yeah. So probably a 10 by 15 or 10 by 12, something like that. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, fuck. Eating my cold oatmeal of shame, which I just ripped open a packet. No, I stayed up till like well past hiker midnight, which is like 9 o'clock. I was up till 11:30. I already had my stuff laid out, so nothing was going to be crinkly. I was tippy-toeing in. I had my little red light on, so I wasn't waking anybody up, in the shelter. I wake up at 5 and everybody's fucking gone. And they had set their shit up outside, like, during this cold, shitty drizzle. So I'm sitting there eating my oatmeal of shame. It's kind of like a dog when he shits in the house. He doesn't make, direct eye contact, And Skinny Malink.
Mine does.
Skinny Malink, he does it while he's shitting.
Yeah, he's
dead ass eye stare. Cat Damon does that too. It's unsettling.
He does it every time he sees my balls. Then he's like, you know what? That's not fair. I'm going to shit in your boots.
How's he work that out? That geometry of it.
The logistics are actually pretty impressive. He's a smart dog when he's not doing really dumb shit.
Smart dog when he's not doing dumb dog things.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there eating my cold oatmeal of shame, and Skinny Malink comes up, and he's from Boston, and I generally hate people. Oh no, he's from New York. He's from the Bronx, I want to say. He's like, Steve, you got about 4 different snores. I'm like, oh yeah? I'm still haven't made eye contact at this point, He's like, yeah. He's like, first you got the blowing up the air mattress. I was like, well, what does that one sound like? And he's like and he's like, and then you got the, letting the air out of the mattress. And he goes through this list. I want to say there was 4 or 5 different snores. And he's like, but my favorite. And I'm already shamed at this point, And he's like, but my favorite, I call it the bear scare. At this point, I'm about as frustrated and just kind of bored as you guys are. I was like, okay, what the fuck is that? And he's like, well, you'd be lying there and it would be fucking cut flower quiet. You wouldn't, even the insects weren't making a fucking noise.
Oh, God, I know where
and
you're
it was
going.
just, 1 minute would go by and then 2 minutes and then out of fucking nowhere. And he's like, I call that the bear scare. So he wanted to initially give me the trail name SOS for Symphony of Snores, which I love dad jokes, and that's like the perfect underhand, like, oh, hey bro, what's your trail name? They're sitting there listening to Ben Harper smoking in the devil's lettuce. I'm like, oh, it's SOS, and they're like, SOS, what's that? And I'm like,
You need a lot of help? No.
It's a cry for help. So instead I went with alliteration and chose bear scare. So that's how I got my trail name.
Like, I'm Dave, so I can't say that my trail name would just be Dave.
Might be just Dave.
But it might...
No, I meant just Dave, actually.
It might just be just Dave, or...
It might just Dave.
It might just
or
be
just
just
Dave. Oh, that's Herb.
No, you'd end up with a really fucking
Bert.
meta trail name with a good story behind it. Because you're an interesting person to be around.
Yeah, but I'm boring as fuck.
No, you're not. Not when you're meeting new people.
No, it's like,
every
hey,
day.
I want to talk, and okay, I'll say this. My trail name would be, well, actually, because
I think I met them too.
Technically.
I think I met them too.
because that is my personality. I know so much about little mundane bullshits
I know.
that all I do is, well, actually. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was.
So what, is my trail name going to be bullshit because he was there for us, and like all you ever hear is like, man, this is bullshit. There's no air conditioning.
No,
I met a lot of Zoomies.
You're a pretty lucky guy. You're probably going to get like hung like bull or something like that.
Well, Steve, thank you again here, man, for being on the show. We really appreciate it. Love hearing the stories. Real quick, though, there was one thing, though, that I think I want to try to introduce into our merchandising store was everybody's got a bumper sticker. Everybody's got something. And with you talking about walking your own trail, finding your own journey, being everything it is to just, to be out there and just to exist. Like you always hear about the coexist stickers, and there's all sorts of variations on that. Why can't we have one that just says exist, live your damn life, like something like that? Just says exist. Maybe got a guy walking a trail, hiking or something. That says live your damn life in subtext. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we could kick it around.
You're part of this thing now, so
Me?
yeah, you have input on the marketing.
Just asking for free, like.
No, really. I mean, it's from what we talked about.
Well, you can't put Steve on it.
I would literally put banal platitude on it. That would be my fucking bumper sticker.
I mean, I've had somebody I've had guys request me they want to do T-shirts that say these fucking birds ... because I always curse the birds. But anyway, yeah, I don't know, mull a few things over. But we are all out of time here, guys. So thank you everyone for stopping by. Don't forget all the other different ways that it is you can listen. You can literally get us now anywhere that it is. You can get a podcast. You just Google. Bing it, Apple it, whatever. Ask Jeeves. Say This Evening Tonight podcast. Press the enter button or the go button or the send button or whatever, and I promise you'll find us.
How would they be able to find you? Like, how would they know to look for you? Like, why would they be listening to you to look for you? Like,
you got me on.
They've already found you.
I mean, people keep stumbling upon us here through either YouTube
I don't even think
or Amazon or Spotify or Stitcher Sounder.
Did you give them the name of the podcast yet? I might have missed that part.
No, I do a RSS feed share with the hosting site that just blasts it out to everywhere.
All right, I got you.
We're even on the Alexa, so if you have the Alexa app, a.k.a. the CIA listening device, you can say, hey, Alexa, play This Evening Tonight, and she will try to oblige. I got the coding right on it.
She will say,
too, so
why?
Yeah, she'll be like, why? Are you sure? Don't you want to listen to Joe Rogan?
Are you okay?
He's much more handsome and clever and money.
Well, he is not more handsome.
It's a good-looking dude. I'm just saying.
He can kick.
Hey, 6 adult beverages in, I might kiss him, but that's it. First base only. But all right, guys, thanks again for stopping by.
Is that still first base?
Thanks for tuning in.
Not for Joe Rogan.
I thought first base was like...
He's trying to end the show.
And until we see
ass.
And until we see you here next time. Fuck. And until we see you here next time on the show. Peace out. Nothing? Nobody
Bye.
There he is. Okay, it's like somebody's gonna say something.